And welcome to our live special edition broadcast. First tonight, we're following up on efforts by the Montana Department of Corrections to relieve overcrowding at the state prison. We recently told you officials transported 240 inmates to other facilities around the country. NBC Montana's Kylie Gibson spoke to a mother whose son was transported from Montana State Prison to Arizona. It's a story you'll only see right here on NBC Montana.
This is Kim and her son Jeramey. Jeramey's been incarcerated for 10 years and spent the last 3 years at the Montana State Prison. Kim tells me Jeramey recently struggled with mental health issues inside of the prison. She says she talks to Jeramey every day, but hadn't heard from him in a couple of days. That's when she grew worried.
On the 8th of January, I emailed asking, what's going on with Jeramey? How's his mental health? We haven't heard anything. Last we heard he was in the infirmary, and that was when she emailed me back saying he was one of the 120 that had been sent to Arizona that day.
Kim tells me she was shocked officials gave zero notice of the transfer to Jeramey or anyone in their family. She waited for a phone call from Jeramey.
I did get to talk to him once he got down there, and then they were placed on a quarantine due to what I've been told is a known scabies outbreak. So again, we were not able to have any contact with him during those 15 days.
They reached out to the Montana State Prison and asked why inmates and their families aren't notified of these transfers. They sent me this statement saying the transportation of inmates is a high security activity. To help ensure the safety of staff and inmates involved, the department does not notify inmates or their families of any type of movement in advance. Kim tells me she wishes communication was better throughout this whole process.
Transparency would be good in some of these situations, like what the expectations are if they're transporting. Do they have an option to be transported? Like what determines who's going where? My son's sentence is up in December, so how does he get back?
I asked the DLC the same question, and they tell me inmates are brought back to Montana if their sentence is up or if they are paroled. It's part of the contract with the vendor. I also reached out to CoreCivic, the private prison company that has a contract in place with the state of Montana and facilitated these transports. I asked them about how they decide who to transport to different facilities. A spokesperson sent me this statement, quote, CoreCivic does not make decisions related to the transfer of individuals to and from our facilities. Those decisions are made by government partners. The Montana Department of Corrections tells me inmates are transferred based on numerous factors, including custodial level, proximity to parole eligibility, active participation in treatment, and medical or other treatment in process.
This mental health piece of this, what they're doing to these inmates, yes, they have done wrong. Yes, they're paying their dues, but they have to have some rehabilitation, and transporting them somewhere where they have no support is really going to have an impact on these people's mental health, whether they stay incarcerated or whether they come back into their community.
According to a press release from the DOC, they are working closely with the governor's budget office and Montana legislators to identify a long-term solution to overcrowding in Montana's prisons. I posted additional details to my article. You can find it on our homepage at NBCMontana.com. Reporting in Missoula, Kylie Gibson, NBC Montana.